We are all about hope around Whitewater, and if you give or serve, you are part of spreading that hope to our community and around the world. This is the Whitewater difference.
All I can remember is being this happy kid. And man, I was a small kid. I mean, we were 2, 3 years old, and that was the happiest time of my life. Pretty sheltered. I wanted to see what else was out there. I was getting too smart for my own good back then. And I was like, I know there's got to be more to life than this. I want to know what they're not telling me. And I found it. You know, I went out and started trying to get accepted by other kids instead of accepted at church. I was running from church, running from God. You know, I tried to always get back and talk to Jesus, but on drugs and alcohol and partying, there's just no connection. You cannot find that connection. You know, and then I found my first wife, and we had a son. And so I thought I could just do what I was shown to do, and that's go to work every day. I quit my bands, I quit partying, quit drinking, and I just tried to do everything right. I went to work, paid my bills, took care of my son, took care of my wife, and started pretty young. I was about 18. We weren't going to church, but I still knew God. I still knew the rules that were shown to me in the church when I was a kid. So I tried to apply them, but I just didn't follow them. I would say, you need to do this, but I wouldn't do it, you know? So I was teaching, but not following. And eventually it caught up with me. I took on too much stress. I started hitting the drinking again. And even though it wasn't like nightly, it was enough to where I just wanted to party. I just wanted to party. I started leaving my wife at home and my kid at home, and I would just not come home. I would just stay out and party. See, that's the problem. I couldn't see it. I was in a circle of about 7 years. 7 years worth of erratic behavior, drinking, drugging, and just being kind of chaotic. I was keeping 2 lives. I had my work life and my home life, and then my drug life and my drinking life. I never mixed the 2 together. I would go to work, party, play around, and I would never actually bring that home with me physically. I wouldn't keep my friends from that life mixed with my family. I wouldn't, I was very good at being 2 people. I couldn't see a way to break that cycle. I would start up, and then years would go by, and it would just gradually progress until I stopped. And I'd say, this is wrong, my life's falling apart, and then I'd stop, clean back up, do it my own way again, get my life back together, money, good job, you know, family's happy, and then I would start going downhill again. And I actually got to the point where I was on something called methadone. And I wasn't just abusing methadone, I was abusing methadone. And it was really toxic. It was destroying my brain. It got to the point where I had no hope. There was no hope. I felt like I was in a chair in a dark room, and I was just sinking deeper and deeper into this chair, and I couldn't get out, you know. That's where my depression led me, and my isolation. My wife had left. My son didn't want anything to do with me. My family was trying to help me, but from a distance, because I was just that bad off. They knew it was only a matter of time. And I told myself that day that if one more thing happened, I was just going to kill myself. It was just too much for me to handle at that point. So I got the gun and I loaded it up, and I was just sitting there asking myself at the very end, could it be the drugs? Could it be me? And I was so far in denial that I never assumed that it was me. I even said to myself, it's not me, it's everybody else that's got the problem. And then I pulled the trigger. Just split second that fast, I realized what I had done. And I realized that I wasn't dead. So I was like, what, you know, feeling my face, what's going on? And God had actually got that bullet stuck in the chamber. So I grabbed on to life, which was Jesus. And then from that, once I surrendered, I gave God the control and the wheel over my life. And He didn't only break the circle of the 7-year pattern in my lives of destruction, He put me on a completely different path that I'd never been down. The best advice I can give anybody in addiction or in any kind of pattern where it ain't just addiction. Addiction is just the outside layer. I didn't know how to handle my feelings. I didn't know how to handle my emotions. Everything was out of control and chaotic on the inside. I took away the drugs, but I was still left with the pain of my past. I would get into a 12-step program, somewhere like Celebrate Recovery. It's faith-based. Not only do you grow out of addiction through steps, you get to work on pain from when you were 2, 3 years old, the earliest memories you can find, work through them, and progress not only in your life, but in strength as a leader, strength as a person who gives back, strength as a dad, as a husband, a brother, father, and that will lead you not as an addict anymore, but as a completely new person in Jesus Christ.